Chapter 5. Prophecy Unveiled. The clearing was bathed in moonlight, its soft glow illuminating the mossy ground and the ancient stones that stood like sentinels around the perimeter. Ava clutched the tome tightly as she and the man, he had introduced himself as Xander, stepped into the clearing. The air felt different here, charged with a quiet power that made her skin prickle. "What is this place?" Ava asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Xander glanced at her, his golden eyes reflecting the silvery light. "A sacred site. It's protected for now. The darkness can't touch this ground." Ava exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. The tension in her chest eased, but only slightly. "Why did you bring me here?" "Because the tome brought you here," Xander said. He gestured to the center of the clearing, where a flat stone slab stood, its surface etched with symbols that mirrored the ones in the book. "Place it there." She hesitated, her grip tightening on the tome. "And what happens if I do?" Xander's gaze didn't waver. "We find out why it chose you." Ava's fingers trembled as she approached the stone. Every instinct told her to run, to throw the tome as far away as she could and forget any of this had ever happened. But something deeper urged her forward, a pull she couldn't resist. Slowly she set the book down, its glyphs glowing faintly as it came into contact with the stone. The clearing seemed to exhale, the air shifting as if the forest itself had been holding its breath. The symbols on the stone began to glow, their light intertwining with the glyphs on the tome. A soft hum filled the air, growing louder until it resonated deep in Ava's chest. Then the light erupted, a silvery brilliance that engulfed the clearing. Ava staggered back, shielding her eyes as the glyphs on the tome began to move, rearranging themselves into new patterns. The hum transformed into a voice, deep and resonant, speaking in a language Ava couldn't understand, but somehow felt she knew. Xander stepped beside her, his expression grave. "Listen carefully," he said. The voice shifted, its words becoming clearer, as if tuning itself to her understanding. "The silver wolf shall rise amidst the shadow, a light to pierce the veil. Bound by blood and destiny, she alone holds the key to balance. Yet the cost shall be great, for the darkness demands its due." Ava's knees buckled, and she sank to the ground. "What does it mean?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Xander's jaw tightened. "It means you're the silver wolf, the one the prophecy speaks of, the one meant to stop the darkness." "No," Ava said, shaking her head. "No, I can't be. I don't even know what I am anymore." Xander crouched beside her, his voice low but firm. "You don't have to understand it all right now, but the tome chose you for a reason. That power inside you, it's not just a curse. It's the only thing standing between us and the darkness." Ava looked up at him, her silver eyes reflecting the light of the glyphs. "What if I fail?" For the first time, Xander's expression softened, and a flicker of something like compassion crossed his face. "Then we all do." The light from the tome began to dim, the glyphs settling back into their original positions. The hum faded, leaving the clearing in a deep, almost reverent silence. Ava's heart pounded as she reached out to touch the tome, her fingers brushing against its cool surface. As her hand made contact, a sudden image flashed in her mind. A grove, its trees blackened and twisted, the ground pulsing with an unnatural darkness. And in the center, a figure shrouded in shadow, its presence suffocating and vast. Ava yanked her hand back, gasping. "The corrupted grove," she said, the words spilling out before she could think. Xander's eyes narrowed. "You saw it?" She nodded, her voice shaky. "It's real, it's alive, and it's spreading." Xander rose to his feet, his posture tense. "Then we don't have much time. The grove is where the darkness is strongest. It's where we have to go." Ava stared at him in disbelief. "You can't be serious. We barely escaped those things back there. And now you want to walk straight into the heart of it?" "If we don't," Xander said, "it will come to us. The darkness won't stop until it consumes everything." The weight of his words settled over her like a shroud. She looked back at the tome, its faint glow a reminder of the responsibility she hadn't asked for but couldn't ignore. Her mind raced, fear and doubt warring with the growing realization that she couldn't turn back now. "Okay," she said finally, her voice barely audible. "I'll go. But you have to promise me something." Xander tilted his head, waiting. If I lose control, if I become one of those things..." She swallowed hard. "You stop me, no matter what." His gaze was steady, unflinching. "You won't lose control." "Promise me," she insisted, her voice breaking. Xander hesitated, then gave a single solemn nod. "I promise." Ava closed her eyes, gripping the tome as though it could anchor her in the storm that was her life. When she opened them again, her silver gaze was resolute. "Let's end this,"